I'm Erik Linask, coming to you from the TMC newsroom, and I'm very pleased to now be here to continue what's become a very popular video series called the Ingate Knowledge Base. The Ingate Knowledge Base is a series of videos brought to you in an easy-to-understand, easily digestible format, talking about all things SIP. Session Initiation Protocol, of course, is the popular language used by most companies developing VoIP-based products, services, and applications. But one of the things that we've come to understand through the first several videos in this series is that SIP can be used to do so much more. And that is really what we're here to talk about in the Engage Knowledge Base. We're going to talk about things like SIP trunking, SIP security, and a whole host of other topics, all, as I said, in a very easy to digest format, brought to you on a weekly basis with new videos. These discussions in the Ingate Knowledge Base are based on the Knowledge Base email newsletter brought to you by Ingate Systems, one of the leaders in SIP-based security solutions, as well as SIP trunking. To sign up for Ingate's newsletter, register at the email address sophia@ingate.com, or you can view all of the Ingate knowledge bases at ingate.com. Now, I'd like to turn your attention to Steve Johnson, President of Ingate Systems, who's going to start us off on a discussion about SIP security. Steve, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, Erik. It's nice to be here.
I know there are a lot of people out there who are still wondering about security when it comes to SIP. Is this still an issue? What can you tell me about it?
Well, everything that we do on the internet or in our networks as companies needs to be secured so that it is not available to those people who are not authorized to use it. So whether it's voice over IP or some other application, everybody takes the right measures to make sure that those servers and those applications are secured away from those who wish to do harm to our networks or to those applications. SIP is no different. It is an application that runs at the layer 7 in the OSI stack, so it's an application type of protocol, and we have to take the right measures. But with the right measures in place, SIP can be a very secure protocol, a very secure way to do voice. In fact, in some cases, and with the right measures taken, it can actually be more secure than the public switch telephone network.
So it can be secure enough to run in an enterprise environment?
Absolutely. SIP is, of course, at the application layer, so it is running in clear text, so you have to take the appropriate measures to ensure that it can be and will be secure for you and your company to use it as your primary telephone system. But it is a very secure protocol. The security measures are built into the protocol. It was written, after all, by the Internet Engineering Task Force. So it was written with the Internet in mind, and all of the security features that are available on Internet protocols have been incorporated into the SIP protocol. And if right measures are taken again, it can be an extremely secure way to do business.
Have there been a lot of SIP-based VoIP attacks that you've seen?
We haven't seen a lot of attacks yet. SIP, even though its use is growing and growing quite rapidly around, has not got probably the pervasive installations as some other applications do. So those people who have the time on their hands to take those kinds of malicious attacks seriously haven't chosen SIP yet as the one that they're going to go after. But as more and more companies, more and more people start to utilize SIP as their primary method of communications, then of course the people who are doing those kind of things may in fact look at that as another way to approach companies and in not so nice ways. So again, the right measures need to be taken from the outset to make sure that those people cannot take advantage of SIP as a protocol.
And what are some of those measures in terms of how do people need to go about protecting their networks?
Well, there are a couple of very fundamental things that we believe should be done. First of all, you should identify your PBX, your IP PBX, as a really mission-critical piece of hardware on your network. And as a mission-critical hardware server, it should be always behind your firewall. And therefore, in the private IP address space of your network, and not exposed to the public internet or to any other connection to a service provider or otherwise without the benefit of a firewall device sitting in front of it. Second thing, and very, very simple to do, is you must take the time to change the password on your PBX so that it is not the default password that comes with the unit out of the box. Very simple to do, not always done. Finally, you should put an enterprise session border controller in front of your firewall to take care of the issues that are related to delivering SIP into a network. And that includes being able to traverse the NAT, which the firewall creates, to get into the private space, to create rules of who is allowed to have access to your PBX, to create authentication of those people, to do other things that might be even more serious kinds of security measures if your business or your conversations demand that kind of security in place.
Is there anything else that folks need to focus on in addition to the session border controller, in addition to changing passwords, things like that?
It's really just to be careful. It's select the service provider that is going to give you the best quality and the least risk in terms of using voice over IP with SIP. It's having the session border controller there with the right measures in place on it. You can install on the session border controller things like quality of service, which will prevent against denial of service attacks. Use the right authentications to prevent people from stealing service. Use intrusion detection and prevention algorithms. And if you are really serious about security and privacy, as some verticals in the industries may be, then you can also use the session border controller to encrypt both the signaling that's used between yourself and a service provider, as well as the media. And in that case, nothing will be exposed to the internet, nothing will be able to be discovered over the internet, even though you're using voice over IP. And that's where we can say that it can actually be more secure than public switch telephone networks of the past.
Great. Thanks, Steve. Very helpful information. Next week's session, we're going to get into some issues surrounding deep packet inspection. For more information, I encourage you all to check out some of the very interesting Ingate white papers that you can download for free. Just go to the link at the bottom of your screen to download one of those white papers on the SIP protocol. Again, thanks for watching. I'm Erik Linask with Ingate President Steve Johnson.
Thank you, Eric.